Justin, I guess just first of all, what do you feel like kind of contributed to the slow start tonight offensively, and how you guys kind of worked through that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes like a big game like that, you get a little amped up. I think sometimes we shot ourselves in the foot, and I think honestly, I didn't play great. Coming out of the first half, there's so much I got to clean up. Coach Sturbick and I were just talking about that, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things, you know what I mean? And I don't want to say it was a certain thing without watching the film, but I know that there's definitely things on my end I can get better at, just knowing me, watching my stuff personally. So we got to fix that, but ended up putting up a lot of points. So pretty happy with how we finished.
Whether it was the returns or defense, just taking advantage of those short fields, I guess how big were those tonight?
Huge. Caden Dowler continues to make plays in specific. The defense, I mean, they're just so good at giving us great field position, and there are times where we just didn't even take advantage of that. Me personally, I was just getting too antsy sometimes, but they're doing a great job, and we talk about it all the time. It's complementary football, and our defense is doing a great job, and our return game too. So happy to have those guys on our back, and yeah.
Were there varied fronts or there kind of mixes of coverage? Was that causing any problems at all for you guys?
I don't know. I think that's a good defense. Their defense coordinator is super smart. Different fronts, different coverages. They're pretty multiple. But I don't know. I was seeing it well. They were just making some plays, and they were making plays. They're a good team.
What's going through your mind when you guys they cut it to 14, but you get the ball back, you have the nice drive, and you have the big touchdown run to sort of stamp it. What's going through your head before and during that possession?
Yeah, really, that last drive, right?
The last drive you scored.
That drive was more of just like get the first down, kind of a 4-minute drill, right? We pride ourselves on running the ball just as an offense. I know the offensive line, prides themselves off of that. So those drives when we're able to, just finish the job, it's kind of just something about our team, you know what I mean? And we're trying to prove that to everybody, that we're tough guys, and we're going to be physical and close out the game running the ball. So that was super cool, and it was a little bumpy sometimes, but I feel like that was a great way to finish it.
It was senior night tonight. Chris Long had his first Bobcat touchdown. JT Reed, your center. Just what does that group mean to you, even though you've only been here a year?
Yeah, shoot. JT and I have become really close. I really could go down the whole line. Those guys, I'm a 5th year, but technically I'm a junior. So those guys are all my age, right? And those guys are like the backbone of our team, like guys like Paul Brott, Hunter Parsons. Hunter's a guy that doesn't get a lot of love where he should. I think he's an all-conference player. We're gonna miss those guys, and they're doing a great job leading us. And for Chris to get into the end zone, he's had to miss a couple games early in the season. Just stayed the course, kept working. He's doing a great job, and super proud of him. He's a good buddy of mine.
What's your over to Chris there after his touchdown? You were pretty fired up. Kind of what was that moment like with him?
Yeah, just like I said, he's been staying the course, and hadn't gotten in the end zone yet this season, but had been making significant plays, right? So I was just so happy for him. Him and I coming in as transfers, sometimes hard, and we leaned on each other early. That's another guy like Taco that just shows up to throwing whenever I asked him. So I'm just super happy for him. Great player. Excited to see what he does the rest of the season.
You guys it's outscored them 24-0 in the middle 2 quarters, and that's something you guys have been really good at all season. So what from your perspective has made you guys so good in those 2 middle quarters?
Yeah, it's the middle 8. Coach talks about it all the time, and I think again the score right before half, we weren't satisfied going into halftime. Coach kind of fired us up. Said this big quarter coming up, right? Us going down there and driving, getting the field goal, then ended up scoring, or Caden's pick again. That's huge. Middle 8's the most important part of football, in my opinion. So, it's a great job by us.
Anything from the fired up speech that he gave that you can share?
He just tests us like, he says that we were in there for a challenge. We wanted this challenge, you know what I mean? So we're not going to back down from it. And that was kind of the motto. We were kind of in a dogfight, right? So we got to embrace that and get after it.
Speaking of that, Beacon brought that up with the post game as well, Beacon challenge. How important do you feel like it was to get this kind of challenge at this point in the season?
It was good. I think some of the conference games we've ran away with a little bit, so you might not feel that challenge. I mean, I think with our team we kind of challenge ourselves every game internally, but it was great. I mean, we knew Davis was going to be good and potent, and you know, it's good to win big games like that. It's a top 10 matchup, so super important.
You were excited for the top 10 matchup, the atmosphere, just how did it all live up to kind of your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere was kind of like Gold Rush, right? And we didn't end that game the way we wanted to, so just able to give the people what they wanted, you know. Bobcat Nation showed out like they always do, so it was big for us to, you know, fight through some adversity and just keep going. Yeah.
I know you had some family in town and got ties to UC Davis, so what did that mean to you to just sort of have a win in an atmosphere like this?
Yeah, it meant a lot. Kind of a little chip on my shoulder for that game, so but yeah, it meant a lot.
Your fiery, competitive nature, where does that come from, but also kind of how do you bottle it to remain steady when you're out there playing quarterback?
Yeah, it's hard sometimes. I kind of have to check myself just even when things don't go my way. Like, I think I've done a better job of that, just even on the headset with Coach, just being able to listen to his coaching, being able to communicate with our guys. I know we have a lot of fiery guys, and I think we're doing a really good job of communicating with each other. Sometimes we challenge each other, but it's all in good nature, so I think I'm getting better at it. Gotta keep getting better at it. Yeah.
What's your perspective on Caden's pick six, and what were just your thoughts as you were watching him run down to the end zone?
Shoot, I think he's one of the best defensive players in the nation. I think you guys probably know that too. Just the way he works, a lot of guys talk about his work ethic, and he really brings it every day. Very humble guy. Taco, everybody knows Taco, and everybody knows who Caden is now. He's been through a lot, so I'm just happy for him. I've been through kind of the same stuff that he's been through, and I know how hard it is. Dude comes in and works every single day, and he's a captain for a reason. Yeah.
Did you know that he was an offensive lineman as a little guy football player?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
he was a
you
quarterback at some point in high school, so we talk about that a little bit. But yeah, versatile, man.
Are you? I know you want to celebrate this. I know you want to enjoy this, but do you know what you're in for next week?
Yeah.
Have you talked to some of the vets about next week and going there and experiencing that?
Yeah, they say it's super hostile, and I think that's something that I gotta understand. I gotta respect that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that Missoula's a tough place to play in, but we're not gonna. We're gonna treat it like it's the biggest game of the year, which it is. You know what I mean? Regardless of our record, and now the stakes are even higher, right? Big Sky Championship. But yeah, they've told me. But I think we're up for it, and I believe in our guys. So looking forward to this week.
Big picture, after the week 2 loss in Gold Rush, Julius was in this press conference and he said this team needs to go through adversity to know what it's like to win and to want that. Just what's your perspective like of how much this team has grown and everything?
Yeah, I don't know. Going 0-2 and then winning 9 straight. We got some guys that are tough dudes in the locker room, right? We really came together. We've talked about it. Those 2 losses were really hard on us, especially the Gold Rush one, because losing at home. We're a group of guys that are just gonna keep fighting no matter what, and that's ran by our leadership, our seniors that you talked about. Those guys lead us, so we're just gonna keep going, and I think we got a really good team. So.